Enneagram 2s and 7s have so much in common that people mistake them for each other all the time. And by people, I'm mostly talking about the amateur Enneagrammers out there on YouTube and social media who make a living slapping personality types on famous or fictional characters. This mistype actually bothered me so much a while ago that I made a departure from my normal educational content to address the serious confusion around a Mr. Ted Lasso's Enneagram type. Now, I'm not going to rehash what I stated in that video, but if you love the show like I did, then it may be worth watching after you finish this episode, and of course, the link is in the description below. Now, there are a few key areas where 2s and 7s have the most in common, starting with the harmonic triad, which explains the general way each Enneagram type copes with painful experiences. 2s and 7s are both in the positive outlook group of the harmonic triad, which means they prefer to remain upbeat, optimistic, and cheerful at all times, and especially in the face of adversity. This is also why 2s and 7s can become fairly avoidant, as they prefer to reframe, downplay, or just totally ignore anything that disturbs their positive outlook on life or their positive view of themselves. Cue several 2s and 7s hitting the dislike button and closing this video. But hey, on the bright side, this positive outlook makes 2s and 7s great at bolstering the mood of anyone they come into contact with, as their love and levity can make them feel like this combination of Mother Teresa and Patch Adams. It is important to note, however, there is a subtle difference between how these types manifest their positive energy. 2s get a bigger boost from relational intimacy, while 7s get a bigger boost from relational experiences. Meaning the 2 would rather have a deep conversation with you at a local cafe, while the 7 would rather take you on an awesome skiing trip. Either way, both 2s and 7s feel like people are a very important way to elevate their enjoyment of life, especially if the 7 has a strong social instinct and or the 2 has a strong 3-wing. Although another important distinction between these two is in regard to their preferred relational dynamic. 2s love to feel needed or central to their relationships, while 7s prefer the freedom to kind of pop in and out of their relationships whenever it feels most exciting. Essentially, 2s want to be the fire that their loved ones gather around, while 7s want to be the gasoline that takes the fire to a whole nother level. Okay, speaking of having a little fire in them, both 2s and 7s can be surprisingly sharp with folks whenever they feel stressed. If we take a look at their movements of disintegration, you'll see that 7s disintegrate to the more angry and critical side of the Type 1 reformer, which just happens to be one of the wings of the Type 2 helper. Conversely, 2s disintegrate to the more confrontational and somewhat domineering side of the Type 8 challenger, which also happens to be one of the wings of the Type 7 enthusiast. So, as you can see, these types have a pantheon of shared personality traits that can make it really hard to tell them apart if you don't understand the intrinsic motivating factors hidden beneath them. And on that note, it's time to drill down a little deeper and talk about what specifically attracts the Type 2 helper to the Type 7 enthusiast and vice versa. Thank you so much for watching You've Got a Type. If you enjoyed that clip, then why not watch the full video it was taken from right here? And if you really enjoyed it, then maybe hit those like and subscribe buttons before you go. No pressure though. Just happy you're here.